Hello everyone, myself Sira from 2nd Sem MCom, Department of PG Studies in Commerce, Government First Aid College of Arts, Science and Commerce Sira. Subject Advanced Financial Management, taught by Tirumala M, Coordinator, Department of PG Studies in Commerce, Government First Aid College of Arts, Science and Commerce Sira. My topic is Real Options in Capital Budgeting. First, introduction to real options in capital budgeting. A real option is an economically valuable right to make or else abandon some choice that is available to the managers of a company, often concerning business projects or investment opportunities. It is referred to as real because it typically references projects involving a tangible assets such as machinery, land and buildings as well as inventory instead of a financial instruments. Next, meaning of real options. A real option is a concept that grants company the freedom to make business decisions and evaluate investment opportunities. Real options refers to the project involving tangible assets versus financial instruments. Real options can include the decision to take, expand, defer or wait or abandon a project entirely. This is a picture related to the real options. The company invest their capital in the various fixed assets. Next, real options in capital budgeting. Meaning of capital budgeting. Capital budgeting refers to the process of making decisions regarding capital investment in fixed assets such as machinery, land, buildings, furniture, etc. It is a long-term plan to make and finance proposed capital outlay. Next one, definition to capital budgeting. According to Richard and Green law, capital budgeting is acquiring inputs with long-term returns. Next topic, capital budgeting process. In capital budgeting process, first step is identification of various investment proposals. The capital budgeting may have various investment proposals. The proposal for the investment opportunities may be defined from the top management or maybe even from the lower rank. Second step is screening or matching the proposals. The planning committee will analyze the various proposals and the proposals are considered with the available resources of the concern. Her screenings selected resources referred as the financial part of the proposal. This reduces the gap between the resources and the investment cost. Third step is fixing property. After the evaluation, the planning committee will predict which proposals will give more profit or economic consideration. If the projects or proposals are not suitable for the concerned financial condition, the project are rejected without considering other nature of the proposals. Fourth step is final approval. After the review of the project has been completed, a detailed program of action will be initiated on final approval. The program of action is directed towards the capital expenses and the cost of planning the capital. The planning committee prepares the cost estimation and submits to the management. Fifth step is implementation. The competent authority spends the money and implements the proposals. Will the people assigned reduces the cost for this implementing the proposals, assign responsibilities for completing it. With the purpose, the network techniques used are PERT for monitoring and controlling the implementation of the proposals. Sixth step is performance review of feedback. The final stage of capital budgeting is acquiring result compare with the standard results. The deviations are identified and thereby rectified for future proposals. Next topic is types of real options in capital budgeting. First option to contract. It is the option to close a project in the future if conditions are not favorable is an option to contract. For example, a multinational corporation stopping its operations in branches in a country with an unstable political situation is an example of the option to contract. Second point, option to expand. It is the type of option that helps the business to make an investment or undertake a new project in the future to make an expansion to the existing business operations. For example, a restaurant chain considering opening a new restaurant in an option to expand. Third point, option to wait. It is the option in which the business decisions is deferred to the future. For example, a restaurant chain seeking to open a new restaurant in the future is an option to wait. Next point, option to abandon. It is the option to exit from the project, or the option gives the investors the right to abandon the project even before completing of the project life. For example, a manufacturer obtaining to sell old equipment is an option to abandon. Next and last point is option to switch. It is the option to close operating on project at some point in the future for unfavorable and resume it when the conditions become favorable. These are all the types of real options in capital budgeting. Conclusion to real options in capital budgeting. Real options are most appropriate when the economic environment and market conditions relating to a particular project are both highly volatile yet flexible. Stable or rigid environmental will not benefit much from ROV and should use more traditional corporate finance techniques instead. Similarly, ROV is applicable only when a firm's corporate strategy lends itself to flexibility as sufficient information flow and has sufficient funds to cover potential downside risks associated with real options. These are all the important information related to the real options in capital budgeting, where the companies invest their capital into various fixed assets such as machinery, land, building, and furniture. It is a long-term plan to make and finance proposed capital outlay. Thank you so much, sir, for giving this opportunity. Thank you all.